got it. Wow.
It hurt the other way. It was like covering my eyes too, and I felt like I was doing this while talking to you.
Well, welcome to Paint Club. I'm Rick Strohmeyer, and I'm full of Thetans.
You're what? You're what?
We are joined by the wonderful co-host,
Mad Hattress, who will never get this right if she goes second each time.
Kind of fun. All right. Well, let's see. This is it's December 11th. Oh, excuse me. That's what we need is an air bubble before as we're going live. All right. So it is December 11th, and this is probably going to be the last show of the calendar year because I'm going to be visiting for the holidays already next week, which is crazy to think that. So yeah, we got we'll have a homework at the end of the show.
He does this thing where he's gonna, love his parent and stuff and like spend time with her.
My mom, which mom just got a new puppy, so I get to drive 24 hours to go do puppy training. Yeah, so that's exciting. So, Nicole, what are you drinking?
No, wait, well, now I need. Do you have alcohol?
No.
Oh, okay, well, I was gonna say, shit, maybe I should have grabbed alcohol if I knew it was the last one of the year for us to cheers.
Well, we'll do an impromptu cheers and well next week. How's that?
Oh wait, here. So I just realized that's like branding, whatever. It's a drink.
That's all right. I do it every week for craft sodas and shit. So like apparently beverages are okay, but whatever art products.
I always drink this and I never explain why. Like most people are always like, oh yeah, that's probably just like a drink. Like, oh, she likes soda or whatever. I don't like soda. I don't drink soda. I've had maybe like in my life a full can of soda with the amount of only sips that I've taken. Like in the 31 years acquired, like each sip maybe is a full can in this life. But my mom and I used to walk to a deli in this, like in cans. It was raspberry Snapple. And ever since then, like, it's like my little comfort drink.
There you go. It's like drinking your mom every time.
No, she's dead, you weirdo. Like, what's wrong with you?
Lot. Too much cheese.
Too much. What you drinking? Craft soda.
Craft soda, yeah, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna go paint some more after this. So I have this is the first time trying it, so you get to see my live reaction. Northern ginger pop.
That's
Northern Soda Company ginger pop. Yeah. Not quite a ginger ale, but ooh, that's good.
Like, okay, so that's the initial reaction. Ooh, that's good.
Ooh, that's good. Oh yeah, you betcha. That's ginger pops are good.
Is that how you guys sound up there by nature?
Not me, guys.
No, I know that you. I know you're not from there.
The angrier I get, the more southern I sound. Oh yeah, some of them, you bet. They just go off on it. Like the first time I was at a restaurant with my buddy, and the waitress is asking us for drinks. I'm like, what kind of soft drinks do you have? And she goes, huh? And my buddy, what kind of pop you got? Oh, and she explains it. I'm like, he's like, we call it pop up here. Pop up here. So like,
they call it pop up in where, what is it? Like in Rochester, which is northwest New York, like, going to Canada, like near Niagara Falls and shit. And oh no, do you hear my cat?
A little. It's all right.
Okay.
Like we're a half hour away from Puka and Munin having their crazy so with that.
Well, no, she just started going, which is usually the neighborhood cats at the window, and she's going to attack it in a second.
Okay.
That makes me think of, so the pop thing makes me think of like wedges and heroes and
Yeah,
subs and stuff like
oh
that.
boys and shit like that. Yeah.
Is there was a whole debate on this guy's thread that I follow on Instagram where he was like, does nobody else call it a wedge? And I was like, I call it a wedge. And everybody was like, what the fuck is a wedge? And I was just like, it has to be a tri-state thing, or not even a tri-state thing, because a lot of people are like, I'm from New York, we don't call it that. And he's like, where in New York are you? And I'm like, maybe it's like my little like
pocket community. Yeah.
Someone's like, who wants to order something called a wedge? I was like, I don't know, it's good.
Well, so up here we have a thing called a Lucy. Yeah. So.
Is it a cigarette?
No, it's a hamburger.
Oh, okay.
So there's a bar over in Minneapolis that claims to be the home of the Juicy Lucy, which they put cheese inside the patty before they cook it. So like they claim to be the home of it, and then like some other bar claims to be the home of it, and then everybody else in that area just happens to just be like, well, fuck it, we'll all have Lucy's on our menu, so they all have some type of stuffed hamburger. Like, yeah.
It's funny because there's this place here. If you come here, I'll take you there. Okay. If you ever visit long enough to come up my way, I'll take you there. It's called, wait, did it survive? I think that because they were gonna close, and I think that they revived it. It's called Dry Dock? Not Dry Dock. Black Duck. There's another place called like Dry Dock, like a city away. I'm sorry. Black Duck Burger. And Guy Fieri, he went there and he did his diners, drive-ins, and dives shit there. And they do stuffed burgers like that, where like the one he had was like the brie and something else. So I was like, oh, I got to try the brie,
Mm-hmm.
And there's like cheddar ones, and they're famous for that shit, and oysters and stuff like that.
Right. Cool.
You'll never come up here.
There you go. So let's see. Oh, I'm on last week's notes. Oops. So yeah. So what are you working on tonight?
As I'm doing it, so I've been casting these all week. So what have I been doing lately also?
No.
Let me take this out of my mouth so I don't sound stupid. These like little chocolate chip cookies that I molded.
Okay.
Candy canes. The thingies that look like the peppermints when you do the swirlies. Christmas tree, gingerbread dude. And then what I'm gonna do with that is I'm going to pour Kwikset white resin into this little shot glass, tilt it on my silicone mat that's here, so it looks like spilt milk, and have.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
That's what we hope for. And I will show progress as time goes on throughout the night. So wish me luck.
That's cool. So you're gonna do it all live while we're shooting the shit.
Yeah. So right now I'm just trying to get like the cookie base coat before I put like gingerbread coloring and stuff like that.
Okay. Is this for a show or for Christmas?
No, present? Just for me.
Just for you doing it. That's cool. You do you, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I'm not keeping it, but like I'm gonna probably give one to my stepdad because my mom used to love Christmas. Like I think I told you this, the whole upstairs is still, or I don't think, maybe he's taken down a few of them, but it used to be covered in Christmas trees and shit because like all year long she didn't give a shit. It was like fake Christmas trees all over the house. July, December.
We have one that's a permanent resident downstairs.
You get it.
Yeah, because yeah. You get it. Yeah. Alicia's
You
got
would do like
color changing
snow.
lights on it.
Yeah, like all of that kind of stuff.
That's right. We have Halloween decorations up all year round too.
Really?
And yeah,
That's cool.
just
Though.
fits the motif. Alicia's a big fan of Tim Burton and the old Nightmare Before Christmas. So anything to make the house a little more look like that, it's pretty. I'm okay with. I mean, what the hell? I like Tim Burton's pretty good. And I like the way um, what's her Kathleen O'Hara's character in Beetlejuice always had the house set up like her own dang gallery. So like, it's cool. I can buy into that, no problem.
Oh, and
Lydia
coincidence with
Deetz.
that then
No, not Lydia
is
Deetz.
that she's the voice of Sally. So there's a coincidence.
Hey, there you go. And like when we did Alicia's 30th birthday party here, and we did it as a Tim Burton theme. And
Shut up.
Yeah. And I was like getting in gear for starting doing custom toys. So I painted up a bunch of I had a bunch of bunnies and Kid Robot products, and I painted them up to look kind of like characters from Nightmare Before Christmas and stuff. I even painted a Mega Bunny to look like the teddy vampire that went ballistic on some kid.
Yeah, I remember him.
And I painted a Fumi to look like Beetlejuice. And I mean, like, yeah, I went to town. I painted like probably 15, 20 toys and had them all throughout the house too, decorated up for it. And it was really cool because like we had a lot of friends come by or come for that. And it was a costume party because Alicia's birthday is the 21st of October.
Oh, that's perfect.
And yeah, and so like I made her a Sally costume, and I don't remember what I went as. And
you didn't go as Jack. What sense do you make?
Yeah,
you're her partner.
Well, yeah, but I really can't remember what I did. But I did something. I know that. But like I had my buddies. Some of my buddies came over, and one of my buddies who showed up was he's he's from Texas too, and he's just a great big good old boy, and I love him. And he showed up as he and two other guys. They showed up as the little kids from Nightmare Before Christmas. Lock, Stock, and Barrel. Yeah, Oogie Boogie's guys. And Alicia's two of Alicia's friends did too, and which was hilarious. And like they hit it off. It was hilarious watching this because they're both very different folks, and by the end of the night, they've got my buddy who's like he's huge. He's like 6'3" and had to be pushing 3 bills at the time. He's got his arm around him and he's just like, "You guys are all right." Like it was very cool.
Does he have a Texas accent?
Oh God, yes.
Oh, that must have been so great to hear. Like, you guys are all right.
You guys are all right. Yeah, it was super hilarious watching this unfold and stuff. And yeah, it was a pretty fun party. And like those my 3 buddies who dressed up like Lock, Stock, and Barrel, they had like. So they stayed in my basement that night. Like I inflated the 2 air mattresses downstairs, and they were like, "All right, one of you's cuddling with me," and so like, and we stayed up all night, like telling stories and shit. And I was like prepared, yeah, and it was cool because like we had probably 8 or 9 people who they knew they were going to drink too much, and they were just like, "Can we sleep? Can we crash on your floor?" I'm like, "Yeah, just bring a blanket and a pillow."
Oh, at least they knew.
Yeah. Like we made boozy gummies and gummy bears and shit. Like so we found like gummy octopi, gummy worms, and gummy bears, and we made all those boozy. And people were just sucking those down like candy. And It's like way back when we were really drinking. But it's like also like we're going to be drinking. So if you need to crash, if you need to stay here, that's fine. Just ask in advance so that we can also like carve out a spot for you wherever, couch, floor, basement, but bring a pillow because I don't have extra pillows or blankets. So like
Don't make it a surprise.
yeah. And it's like nor would I want to wash like 15 extra blankets. So it's very much like you're responsible for your own damn bedding.
Do you have a guest room?
We do now. We do sort of now. So like when Alicia.
So are there sheets in there?
No. Well, yes, now. But okay, so when Alicia first moved in, like when I bought this house, I turned the biggest damn room into my studio. All right.
That makes sense to me.
So it is like this room has 2 closets. And I could turn one of them into a panic room if I needed to. This one's fucking huge, and this one's pretty good. And then like across from it is the master bedroom, which is almost as big as this room, but it only has 1 closet, which we keep all of our clothes in there. It's big enough for 2 people. And then the bathroom is over there, which the second closet in this room is big enough to turn into like a half bath. So, but no way would I do that. Anyway, so like in between these 2 rooms is like the littlest room in the house. And when I first bought this, that was like the computer room, because this was like the room where I make all the mess and stuff, and then that would be like the computer room and stuff. And I did set up an inflatable mattress in there a couple of times when like I had to stay there for when my dad was visiting, or like when I had a buddy visit once, and I was like I didn't have an extra bed. And then like Alicia just decided that she wanted when she moved in here, she wanted to have her own space that she could just like claim as hers if ever she wanted to have like her own space. So I was like, well, I'll take my computer out of there and you can have that littlest room. And so like that's the library, and it's wall-to-wall shelves in there for all her books, and it's still not enough space for all her books. And then she put a recliner in there so she could have her own comfy chair, so she can have it as a retreat for books and stuff. And then one day she decided that she wanted to have take the recliner out and be able to put just like not a twin, but whatever's smaller than a twin in there, so that we could have like potentially if somebody needs to stay, we could. And it ends up being the quarantine room more often than anything else. When like one of us doesn't feel well, we sleep in there because try not to get everyone sick. And we have the same type of mattress in both the bedroom and the library, so it works out okay.
Look at you guys making compromises and normal things.
Well, that's what we call grown-up shit, right?
Yeah, I guess.
So yeah, so that works out all right. And like, and thanks to COVID, like our downstairs has been turned partially into an at-home work office for her. Yeah. And because she's an employee of the U of M, that can't be deducted on taxes. But the square footage that I use for my studio here and in the basement gets to be deducted for my business taxes. And yeah, it's cool. Like, I like this house. It's old. It makes a lot of freaking noises. My neighbors, how old? 114 years. So when I bought it, it didn't have insulation, and I ended up getting insulation put in. And real quick, I'm going to give a shout out to my neighbor. He rocks. We got hit with a big ass snowstorm yesterday, and
Snow.
yeah, snow in December. And the reports are anywhere between 4 to 18 inches, depending on where you are. And so, like,
Wait, in the same town?
yeah, within 50 miles, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was pretty epic. Like, it was epic enough to where people were like, the school district was, some districts just shut down for the day, and they're like, we'll go to distance learning, and some were like dismissing early, and we didn't see the snow start falling until 12 o'clock. Our dismissal is like 1:45. So like the snow is falling, and it's not like big, like the size of cornflakes or anything. Like sometimes that happens, but it's just like little shit, and it's just like constantly going down. And we're like, oh, well, this doesn't. I'm in my head, I'm like, this doesn't look too bad. By the time we get to the buses, it doesn't look too bad. There's maybe an inch on the ground at most, but it just kept coming and coming and coming. And like, I got a text message at 1:30 that said, the buses are here. Start getting your kids to the buses so we can get out of here. I didn't see that. I didn't see that for 10 minutes because I was working with one of my kids on the xylophone or on the bells. So like, here I am dealing with tempo and beats and feeling the vibration, not feeling the vibration on my leg because we're doing all this other shit. And when I got to it, I was like, oh, we'll be out there as soon as we can. And we weren't the last people on the sped buses, but yeah, let's get out of here. So I'm going to tell a funny story from work, and I almost never tell stories from work because this was kind of funny. So yesterday, I was working with a group of kids in my room, and one of the guys that I work with, he's like a punch card computer, because once he starts initiating doing something, it has to be that program has to be run through before he stops, right? And it's mostly in the things that he says. Okay.
Is this a coworker?
No, this is one of the kiddos I work with. Okay. And I'm sitting next to him and I'm watching him do his job. I'm like, hey, good job. So I took his marker and I drew a happy face on his hand, and he's just like, oh, and he just does it like this. And he's looking at it. And then he goes back to doing his work. He's so elated that I put a happy face on him, right? So then I turn around, and my boss is like 8 feet away. She's working with one of the harder kids, because we switch off. And I go help another kid out, and my back is turned for like 40 seconds on this kid I just put a happy face on, and I turn around and he has drawn happy faces all over his hand because he's trying to recreate the joy of having the first one on. And I'm like, what are you doing? And my supervisor's like, we don't draw on our hands. And I'm like, that's my fault. Like, I put one on him because I thought he was doing a great job. And I'm like, and I also put numbers on their fingers for when we do keyboards and gen ed. And she's like, yeah. And she switches gears immediately. She's like, only teachers write on you. Like, okay, cool. So then like I take him to go do something, and I come back and I was like, I guess I could have thrown him under the bus and see him do this. And I'm just like, what are you doing?
That's so cute though. He was so excited that you did that. Aww.
And she's like, oh, that would have, okay.
That's what makes it all worth it.
I know.
Those little happy moments. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it was just it was a goofy day. Like I said, I was at half speed because of a reaction to the booster. Like, I didn't want to be there, but I was like, oh, see what we have to do. Like, I felt achy in all my joints thanks to this. So like, we were doing rhythm sticks with the music therapy, and I'm hitting it. I hit rhythm sticks to go with, and because I got a guy who's not doing anything, I went kaplang, and I felt all the reverberations in my body. I'm like, you're holding on to these, and we're just going to do a tap, 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 knocked out. Just like, but 36 hours later, I feel like a champ.
Yay, you didn't die.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. So what have I been working on lately? Meanwhile, back at the original story. All right. So we played catch up. For those catching us for the first time, we played catch up Monday for last Saturday's rain delay, and so in between Monday and now, I've only been able. I felt like garbage more days than I'd like to admit, and so I was very happy to actually have something completed for this week, and so I got a platform that I've never painted before. Excuse me. So I was commissioned to do a platform that I've never been painted before. And it's an old school designer vinyl of the Tokidoki. So I had a customer. Oh, I should touch that up. Anyway, so I'm finished, but I'm touching it up. So I had a customer pick up a piece from New York Comic Con, and she wanted me to make a Tokidoki to complement it. So that's where we went. And so the little spinny rainbow
I
wheel.
love his badass eyes.
Thank you. Yeah. So like her and I went back and forth about different things to do with. Why am I getting this spinny wheel? Went back and forth on what to do for certain parts, and I'm getting the spinny wheel, and that makes me sad. All right. So we went back and forth and got this going, and yeah.
Where's the blacklight photo, my friend?
I'm trying to get there, but apparently my
I was like, hit me with the bass drop.
I'm getting there. It's acting stupid on my photos.
And well, I mean, the funny thing is, but not haha funny, but just like, I hate when people say funny thing is when it's not funny, but I don't know what other saying to say.
Right.
You don't see the spinny wheel on this end. So when you're like, why the spinny wheel? I'm like, what is he fucking talking about? It's fine.
The computer's thinking, and that's interesting to see like what it will not show. So yeah, I am.
Oh, it's mad at you. It doesn't want to show your black light.
It is mad. It's mad that I did that. I didn't go to the black light first. Yeah, it wants to do everything except talk to my pictures. Shit. All right, well, let's see if it fixes itself magically.
Boo. But I love it either way. I love that. Wait, so did it match a piece of yours that she got at New York Comic Con, or like, okay?
Yes. Yeah, so I it was for the Stormy Vault anime show, and I painted this Robotech piece to look like, I'm sure I showed it on the show. Painted a Robotech piece with the color version from Overwatch, the character of Overwatch that was incredibly metallic, pink and metallic, and so she wanted.
I remember that one.
Oh, I liked it. It turned out well.
I like that one.
Thank you. And yeah, so
that's cool. A little Tokidoki to go with it.
Yeah, so now like she sent me 2 Tokidokis, one to do whatever I want to with, which is really nice. I always like getting that kind of carte blanche. So we'll I don't know. The hope is to get it finished before I take off to Texas. Not necessarily shipped, because the closer we get to Christmas, the more insane shipping is going to be in the US. So at least complete it. At least complete it. I mean, like the snow yesterday was a big dumper, because I was gonna go prime old Cthulhu over there, and didn't get to, because I just didn't trust the idea how well Minneapolis would have plowed their streets. So
Mm.
the onus is on them. So I'm like, well, I could just wait a couple days and I'll do it Monday, and hopefully, like by Monday, I'll have a couple extra toys that I can have completed and uh, have completed and varnished them, and then clean and prime the other stuff. So
No, what
you know,
snow?
snow. Yeah,
I,
it's like
I can't with the people here. I lived here 31 years, and like I'll see my friends who've lived here equally as fucking long, and they'll be like, it's snowing, and I'm like, what the fuck do you expect in New England, my friend? Like, my app tells me. I don't need you. Like, oh, you know what tells me the weather? Hold on, blinds
the
up.
window.
Oh, look, snow.
Every year when we get either at the beginning of when we get snowfall, or March, April when we still get snowfall, I always get from I'm reminded of from The King and I, the old Renner one, where like they're doing the play in the play, and she's
I've
like,
never
"What does
seen
this
it.
mean?" Oh, it's hilarious. But they're trying to describe on the in this play in Siam, they're trying to describe snow, and they don't believe that snow is a thing. And so like when they're explaining it in this play, she's like, "And what is this miracle?" She goes, "Snow." She said with that sneer. I'm like, that's me every May and every October. Yeah.
I remember one time it snowed in October here, and I was like, "What in the fuckery is this?" Because it was like it was a Halloween party. There we go. There we go.
Hey.
Oh, look at that shit. Sorry. It's not like a surprise eyeball.
Yeah. So I just decided. So thanks. Photos quit. Yes, I understand. All right. So yeah, I just did a trick where, yeah, it's inside. Boom, boom.
Ah.
So it's like ancient Strohmeyer technique. Yeah, I like the way
It'll be written about in books for years to come.
Oh, sure it will.
And it'll be called the Strohmeyer technique.
It's on Instagram. It's forever. We won't have books in the future anyway.
Oh, I love the smell of books, but I hate the death of trees.
Yeah, we could put all of Alicia's books on one Kindle and we'd have so much space in this house. But the idea of her not holding a book is blasphemy.
It's devastating.
So, like,
I have a Kindle and I just stopped using it because like after reading like 2 books on it, I was just like,
yeah, you don't have the right feel. It's like the same way why I don't like drawing on an iPad.
yes, that is very difficult to get along, like to change.
Yeah, that's the best comparison I can do. Like, I don't like doing digital painting or drawing because I need to have that feel. And like InPrime suggested to me about getting like a different tip for my iPad and getting a different screen protector that would have like more of a paper feel, and I did. It's not me.
Nothing beats paper for you.
It's not for me. I'd rather reach out and pay some freelance dude to do whatever digital rendering that I can whip out in no time, and they can on paper, and they can whip out digitally faster than I can do it.
You know what I do like about the iPad? If I'll take a toy, and I think it was you that told me. I can't remember if it was you or if it was somebody else that taught me this trick. Maybe it was fucking Prime. Because it seems like he tells me a lot of tricks too. To take a picture of like what I was going to draw on or what I was going to paint. Mm-hmm. Like before I put a concept, and then like sketch over the picture.
Yeah.
And it's helped me a few times. Mm-hmm. And then like for execution, where I'm like, okay, this looks okay, yeah, you know what? I see this way before I draw on this one thing that I'll never be able to draw on again or whatever.
Right.
Like Invasion Toys did the what was it? The Supreme sticker slaps last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I did I'm Just a Bill from Schoolhouse Rocks across two of them, and I had to take I took a picture of it ahead of time so I could see where I was going to do like the stairs versus like, but otherwise I'm not very good with my Procreate, I won't lie.
That's about all I use it for. So I can just like, if I need to lay out an idea for a toy. But yeah, that's
it's good for that.
It's not a great reason to have it. It's like the iPad is useful for many other things. I just don't use it for art. And I almost sound like Click and Clack when they're like, "What good is a Dremel?" they had no concept of like why somebody would want to use it.
What? I love my Dremel.
Yeah, as do I. Yeah, but like I was listening to an episode of them a few years ago, and they were just like this caller called in, and he's like, "Oh yeah, should I just use my Dremel to do this?" Blah blah blah. They're like, "You use a Dremel?" we have no idea why we would have that. And like they have like the die cutters and shit. No, not the die cutters. Die grinders and stuff.
Not everybody has that, friends.
Right. No, not everybody has access to a full garage. But
like I have this like, I always call it my my tool wish list. It's not on like any app or whatever, but it's written, like I have it written down in one of my like little books of like things I want to like eventually acquire, and like lists of it. And I have things like fucking like miter saws. Like I got all this shit listed out. Like I'm gonna be I'm gonna get some big garage, and you're just gonna see me be like, like fucking welding kits and shit like that one day. I aspire to do too many things.
That's all right.
Is it?
Yeah, it's great. No, like the maker shop that I go to, they have a welding section, and sometimes they teach classes on how to actually weld. And so one day I'm going to do that because I don't know how to weld yet. But like I'm going to show this off. I don't know, maybe we're just jumping around tonight. That's all right. The day before Thanksgiving, I called Alicia's dad. Like we were cleaning up like crazy because it's been 2 years since we had hosted Thanksgiving. And I called up, and I had these drawers that I turned into a nightstand a while ago. And because we got the king size bed, my nightstand went away. But so I was like, okay, well, I'll use these drawers and I'll turn them into toy holders so that I can like weigh them down, and I'll have holes in them so that instead of just finding random boxes to stick the sticks in and stuff. And so when I finally took the table apart that was made out of the drawers, I was like, now is as good a time as any to stop putting off this project. So I'm like, called Alicia's dad. I was like, you got any 2x4s you could just cut into certain lengths for me? He's like, yeah, I can do that. And so he like cut 6 blocks for me so I could have 2 of these things. And so I had these drawers, right? And so I put 3 2x4s in there. And they're screwed in by 2 screws a pop. And they hold. So I put all my toys on skewers almost all the time so that I don't have to hold them. Kind of like this, right?
Yeah.
So like this thing is heavy enough with the 3 pieces of 2x4 and the wooden drawer that I have no toy that would ever make it off lopsided. And if I ever did, I have like boxes of screws or bolts or whatever that I could just weigh down
in the bottom.
So I have 2 of these, and they're big enough to where they go on the shelves that I got from IKEA just fine. So these,
Can you ask Alicia's dad to make me one?
I'll bring you one for at 5.
Thanks, Alicia's dad.
Well, like I could, in theory, I could have cut it at the makers, but they have a rule for lumber on the power tools, which is it has to be factory fresh. You can't use reclaimed or painted wood on the power tools. You can use it on anything that's just handheld, like the drill, etc. But they don't want reclaimed wood on those. One of the reasons is being that there's no guarantee you'll always get all the staples, nails, or screws out of it. So they don't want they don't want you to discover a nail or staple or screw with the blade.
Yeah.
A little bit of safety.
Oh god, that would be bad.
Little bit of safety, a little bit of just precautional wear and tear on it. And also because if it's sealed, that has the possibility of trapping in moisture, and they don't want moisture onto the power tool, which is like, it's all about preservation of the tools and yourself. And that's fine. But all of my scrap 2x4s are painted, so I couldn't take them there. So I was just like, you got any 2x4s you have in your scrap pocket you could just bring? And so like within 24 hours, I had those blocks, and I'm like, well, hell, I might as this project has been hanging around for 2, 3, 6 months. So I'm like, this is the reason to get it done. And then my studio felt less cluttered because I haven't had just random boxes sticking shit on, or blocks of styrofoam having like 1 or 2 things on there and stuff. So it was a hell of a space saver.
I can imagine.
Like these things will stay on either a shelf or, they stay on a shelf on either a table that's rolling around or just one of these units that's over here. It's just, dang, man, just made out of pennies on the dollar for what I made. So it's they're worth their weight. I'm pretty happy with that.
That's awesome. Those
So
things
there you
look
go.
fast.
So super simple, and there's my hack for the night.
Yay! Technique of the week.
Didn't even expect it. Hey, did you check out any? So like we're gonna bounce around. So weekly background sound. Did you check out any the podcast that I sent you?
I'm not a liar. No.
That's all right.
Look, I'm not even gonna fucking lie. I've had, besides like I always have crazy shit that happens in the week. Let me fucking tell you, the weird sleep that I've had going on where I've been delirious. Like, I'm not even lying. On Thursday, I was driving on the highway and I thought I saw a goat. And I was like, bitch, why would there be a goat on the highway? Like, and it was like 4:00 in the afternoon. I was so deliriously tired. And this cat, God, I love her so much, but this cat has been like so achy because of the weather and stuff that I think she just feels really vulnerable around my other cat, like just when she's like even like nearby. And usually like if they're like here, she'll be like or whatever, but like the cat will be like over there and she could just sense her and she'll start growling. So I try to start petting her, and then she growls more, and then she growls more, and I'm up all fucking night trying to figure out why she's in pain, like which part of her hurts. Is it her mouth? Is it her hip? So my concentration level on things that I wanted to care about, I was like, yeah, I'm going to put a pause on that, because then if I try to, I'm going to be like, I have no idea what just happened. So I listened to bullshit. I listened to my bullshit TV that's garbage that nobody like cares about, and that I don't even care about. And I'm just like, you know what? It's in the background. And every so often I look up going, what'd she say? Okay. I was watching Married at First Sight for like the last week. That shit's wild. That show is like, I'm just sitting here like painting or like casting these cookies and stuff, because I made the mold. So I was like casting them to make another mold so I can make like a gang mold of cookies. And I'm like watching, there's like three seasons that I was watching this whole entire time, because I was just like next for noise. And I'm sitting there painting and I'm like, these motherfuckers are doing arranged marriages in like 2021, like when it's not like familial. So they're like, y'all can easily just be like, I'm getting a divorce. It's all good. And I'm like, I'm watching the show going like, okay, I understand. It's like, you know, some of these. And each time I'm like doing like a guess ahead of time. I'm like, this couple is going to stay together. This couple is not going to stay together. And I don't even know what's happening most of the time. I could only like just hear it and I'll look up every so often. And I'm like, I've taken just from listening that obviously like they do things on purpose and shit, like any reality TV show.
Right.
But these people legitimately get married because I looked into it like one night when I couldn't sleep. I was like, okay, hold on. I need to know. Like they legitimately are married, like on the book married. And I feel like these quote experts that pair them dead ass do it like on purpose, like not to be like a perfect, like some of them they do like on purpose to fail, like because you'll see like couples that are like so alike and that like haven't fucking had kids and shit, and I'm like, oh damn, like that's actually really sweet, even though this is a reality TV show, like that's kind of cute. And then you'll see couples that are complete opposites and they're trying to say like, oh, he's gonna break her out of the shell, and I'm like, there was like one guy who was 34 and like a retired like not Navy, he was an Air Force guy and he's a pilot. And he married someone who was like 26, not that that matters because like whatever, it's 8 years. And she was like, I like to go to raves and festivals, and he's like, and she's getting smashed and like saying like, you know, it should be fine that like if I get drunk and I can't get home on time and I'm hanging out with my friends that I sleep on a guy's couch. And I'm like, like what made you think that this person should be married to this person? And I'm like, okay, I counted on it. I was like, these people are getting divorced. Because at the end, it's so funny. The experts go, now's the decision. Are you going to stay together or get a divorce? It's after like 8 weeks. And I'm like, damn, that's like no time to figure. Okay, whatever. And they stayed together. And I was like, no, like, no. And then after I finished the season, because it wasn't the most recent season, it was like one ago, or I guess 2 ago now, I Googled to see like, okay, who's actually still together, and they are getting divorced. And I was like, told you. Like, that's the shit. Like, I know that shit TV is not for everyone, and like I don't do like The Bachelor or any of that nonsense. I like to hear the weird, like the outlandish shit. Like The Bachelor is not outlandish to me anymore. I saw that when I was like a kid with my mom and stuff like that. But like Married at First Sight, I'm sorry, like I'm gonna sit here and what'd she say? Or like Love Is Blind, when that shit comes back on at Netflix, I'm like, you are talking to somebody through a wall and you're gonna propose to them? Like, the concepts y'all come up with. And then people stay married. I'm like, holy hell, what is this world that we're in? Like as a little kid, not a little kid, but like as a teenager, I thought like worst case scenario for myself, if I ended up like single and shit like that when I was older, I'd be like on Match.com, because that was like the new thing. You
that
know,
was the wall.
We're having arranged marriage television shows. There's so many options. It's so weird. Like, could you imagine like you going on that show and you're just standing there and you don't know Alicia, right? Or no, how about this? You know Alicia. And y'all have either like just been friends or whatever in life, and then you guys matched and you're like, I've seen that happen twice on this show. I'm like, what? I've asked like at least like 4 of my friends while I've been watching this show, or like listening to this shit. Depends on what time it is. If it's late night and I can't sleep, I'm like, I've asked so many of my friends, would you do that? Like, because they go to different cities. I'm like, would you do it? Like, if they came like to like New York, would you be like, yeah, I'm gonna do like married at first sight and like go find a match and like in 20 days you're getting married? And they're like, fuck no. I'm like, you sure? You sure? I don't know. It seems like it's like a thing.
I had a friend who, her and her sister, when they were doing casting for The Biggest Loser. They went to audition, and they were all excited to try and do it. And then they left, and they got rejected.
No.
And they were like, first they were rejected. They were heartbroken because they were rejected, and then they were heartbroken because they were like, they thought they were overweight, and they were like, well, they thought they would qualify for it, and they were told they weren't big enough, and so that motivated those two spots of rejection motivated them to where within like a year they had changed their physiques significantly.
Oh wow.
So like that's my connection.
I don't know if I've had any like friends that no, I think I've had like maybe one friend audition for like The Voice. I think I had one friend audition for The Voice. But she didn't get to she got to the round right before the blind, like before the chairs and shit.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah, we let's see, what the hell have we listened to this week? I've been listening to a lot of like just sleep music. Like, man, yeah, this was a crazy week of sleeping because I don't sleep this much, and for feeling like hell.
I was your opposite. Like for your 30 to 36 hour ratio, I was the 6 to 36.
Like, yeah, we watched. We caught this week's episode of Graveyard Tales, which was funny because while we were listening to it, I'm recording Puka because he's being naughty. Well, he's not being naughty exactly, but he's showing off some of his behavior. All right, and he doesn't like to be have video shot of him, and he's very vocal about it. So my Facebook has a lot of videos of him just grumbling because I was watching him do something I didn't want him to do, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Ugh," and he's walking around grumbling, looking at the camera, going, "Ugh, ugh." And like because we were listening to Graveyard Tales, I was like most times when I shoot video, I try not to record whatever we're listening to because I don't want to get flagged by YouTube or Facebook or whatever by using unauthorized stuff. But I tag Graveyard Tales in it. By the end of the night, whoever's moderating that, their social media was clicking the like button on it, so that was cool.
It's like, probably no, because like if you think about it, he sounds like that sounds like some like
but also like what I got from him is, I'm going to use my camera as the example. I've got him like and then all of a sudden there's a so I have the snout view right there. It's just really funny. Like in my humblest of opinions, in all the scary movies, when it's great when you're like open the window, whatever, and there's this.
Yes.
Like, aha, that's my favorite part. Like the scariest part in Jurassic Park is when the raptors are like this at the door.
Yes.
Or like Godzilla picking up a subway train and looking into it. All that shit. So yeah, but like, okay, so I got home. Alicia made it home. The U of M, the University of Minnesota, let its employees leave early to beat the snow because they were just expecting like this catastrophic thing. I know it was pretty bad, and I imagine like school buses having a hell of a time yesterday, and of course the higher ups did. That's why they were like, Buses got there damn quick yesterday. But
Hmm.
so Alicia was showing me this thing called a yarn swift that is designed. She got her new yarn yesterday, which is all beautiful. She took pictures of it for me so I can have it.
Ooh.
So I'll share those because like I was like, just take pictures of those so I can have those in my files. So I can have those color schemes in my files.
What does she make?
She crochets a lot and mostly scarves, but she's been doing like doilies and stuff. Like
Can she make me a scarf?
you bet she can. Um,
I only know how
and
to do a straight like double stitch, and I feel like that's a disservice to scarves. Mhm.
so she's showing off this yarn, and and normally she like sits on the couch with her feet propped apart with the yarn stretched out, and she puts it in a ball that way. And she's like, well, I could get a yarn swift and I could do, well, what's the yarn swift? And she pulls up pictures of it on the internet. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe Michael's would have it, or we could do, or like the whatever local yarn store we have. And I'm like, I don't want to go out. Like, it's snowing like hell. I don't want to go out. And well, you go to the hardware store and pick up some lumber to make. I don't know. I can go out. And so um, it took me about 20 minutes, but I found all the material to make one at home. So within like an hour, I made like the prototype of my own. Yeah, I found the
Oh.
instructions on a website of how to make one, and I was like, well, and it's really just like a big ass cross piece with holes in it, so you could like space it out, and it spins. So I had a Lazy Susan from IKEA that I was like, well, because the Lazy Susan is a 12-inch diameter, that means I don't have to have perfectly cut square pieces to have this beautiful intersection. All I have to do is have them branch out a foot,
Yeah.
and so I can create this 2-foot diameter. And I was like, oh, and a little rummaging through my scrap bin, found all the stuff already mostly cut the way it could, and then I had to go find screws because apparently my screw supply is down. So I had to go find them in a different place, and then like finding the dowels, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's all the pieces. And while she's napping, I like got this thing set up. And long story
Oh.
short, like she put it up on this high stool, and Puka is freaking the fuck out over it. It's like
Oh
it
my god.
spins as she's like pulling the yarn on it, just slowly spinning, and he is just like he's having none of this. He's barking at it, he's growling at it, he's going up to it to investigate, and then he's like, "Oh no, this thing fucking moves!" And he's just like he's terrified of this thing. And I'm like, "Well, this was unexpected."
So you started
So I'm like,
recording him?
"Yeah." So I'm like, "Well, normally when I start recording whatever goofball behavior he's doing, he stops, and he's just like." He's so spooked by this thing that he doesn't stop. He just like extends it on to me. I'm like, you stop recording me while I'm doing this.
Yeah, like you're upsetting me by me being upset.
So yeah,
Oh
it
my
was funny.
god. Poor Puka. Noodle does that shit. Like if you put a camera in her face, she'll be like this. Like she'll be doing something cute, and the minute you put the picture, like a video on her or anything, she'll be like this. I'm like, and like I'll try to get it close to her, and she'll go like this.
One of the things we watched this week was off Disney Plus a documentary on the wildlife of China, and when these foxes showed up on screen, he starts like barking at the TV and going to try and engage the TV. And I'm like, oh shit, why didn't I have my phone ready?
Because
So
he's gonna stop.
so we rewind it, and he does it again. We rewind it again so I can get the phone ready. And as soon as he sees me whip out the phone, he's like, I'm done. He's like, yeah, see you later, funny man. You thought that was good. I'll see you later.
You know how like those videos are like play this sound and get your dog's reaction, play this sound and get your cat's reaction. Yeah, none of the sounds for where like play this sound and it's like a cat going like "Meow." My cats are just like this. Or like the kitten sound where it's like "Meow," and it's they're supposed to come like looking. They both just look at me like, what the fuck are you doing? One of them, you're supposed to actually make the noise yourself. It's that like thing. And I did it. And my cat was looking at me like, are you drunk? What are you doing, you weirdo? Pebbles, her old badass, she has no fucks given. I swear, she just looks at you like she's gonna mic drop and like just like shimmy away from you kind of shit. Like I'll do my fuckery and she'll just be like, Noodle, on the other hand, will be like, cats are crackheads.
There you go.
There's the old crackhead.
There you go. Yeah,
I
all
can't
right.
believe
So
she's 18.
you what?
She's
Oh.
18 years old.
Jeez Louise.
Mommy.
That's huge. All right. So wash it on. There we go. Homework. Aha. So we're gonna jump right into homework. So we have Jesus, it's gonna be a while. Let's go look at the calendar real quick because I'm like, I don't know, more than 2 weeks. Yeah, so we'll have see y'all on the 1st.
Good thing I don't go out and drink.
Me neither. I should be home by the 29th, so that's exciting.
I don't mind. I mean, it's also nighttime, so it's like, you know, if you go out, you're going out the 31st at night. Even if I was to be a rager, or like if you go out at all, like I figure anybody should be semi-coherent by 8 p.m. the next night.
Last time I was out on New Year's Eve was many years ago, and I was driving back home, from Texas, and I bought all this Shiner Bock Texas beer, and my buddies were having a New Year's Eve party, and I didn't even go home. I just like showed up to the house like with the car still loaded full of beer and clothes and everything else, and the dog, and it was just like, I brought beer. And we my buddies drank one of the box of beer I brought in, and I drank somebody's mead, and then I went home. And
the question is, if New Year's Eve is Friday, and New Year's Day is Saturday,
yep,
do you get shit-faced both days because it's a weekend?
Well, I could. We'll see what the boozing buddies are doing Friday night.
Oh God. Oh God.
I'll ask Alex what they're doing. All right. Yeah. And so we'll be back in 3 weeks, 3 weeks time. So homework for the week for this will be fun. It'll be the incorporating textures. So that's really just like the gist of it is, yeah. So if you like to paint flat or whatever, like incorporate textures into your composition. So like I had some things lined up and I can't find the fucking bases for them. So to make new bases for some toys, I'm like, I'm going to use this stuff to make textures for the base. Like, let's see how that works. So it's very much like the mindset of, well, we can extend this to see whatever other people can do with texture. And
I like that because I like from the last homework, I started using the different mediums, and those are all texture based.
There you go.
Maybe I can see how it would work on a toy.
Ooh, there you go.
Because I usually don't do anything besides like flat painting.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I like
So
that.
there it is. We'll throw that up there and see how we go. So that being said, we're going to wrap this up. Nicole, what have you finished tonight?
I have the. See, I thought I worked faster. This just proves to me I don't. I have the chocolate chip done.
Okay, no.
This I'm gonna put like a white, like a white frosting line around it, so it looks like the frosted cookies. I need to just like refine the white on this, refine the white on this guy, put a little white dot on his other two buttons, and pour the resin. Wish I could post today, because guess what? I'm unbanned.
There you go. You see what you did there with the mints? You painted it white, and then everything else you painted around. Easiest way to do white. All right, Nicole, please tell everybody where they can find you.
On Instagram at the.madhatches, and I guess on Facebook again.
for another 3 days.
Honestly, like I can't even say boo. Yeah, that's it.
Because somebody's gonna misread and see, oh, she said boob. Got to get her out again.
Oh my God, I know. Sometimes I look at the things I say and I'm like, yeah, I deserve it. Like on Instagram, I said for Fat Dad Toys, I said Fat Dad. And they were like on the live last night and they were like, are you sure you want to say that? And I was like, I'm gonna get banned from the live before I'm even on, like for my turn, because I said Fat Dad, but that's his name.
There you go. I'm Rick Stroh on Instagram, RICSTROH. We are here for the good vibes. And as we close up, we'll remind everybody the rules of Paint Club. 1, everybody talk about Paint Club. And number 2, don't scratch it.
We need to make a third one.
We will, Benjamin, soon. All right,
for year 3.
Wow. For year 3. Yeah. No, 3 for 2. So there we go.